everybody, this is Troy from Sousa Man Entertainment, your one stop for all things entertainment. And I wanted to talk about the best movies, or or movie reviews for movies that I saw from 2020 to 2022. So both of these, 2020, I mean, we know what happened during 2020, so it really sucked for a lot of people. Um, and there wasn't that many movies. I mean, there was movies, but it was, we know not that many releases till like later in the year when movie theaters were back and operating, and in 2021, and then video games as well. Because hey, I talked about it. Why not talk about more? So 2020. Let's see. What did I see? I saw a lot of movies there in 2021. The Dark and the Wicked. That was a horror film that I saw in 2020, and man, it's one of those scary movies. It's scary and it's definitely gets you, but it's just like such a downer ending. It's like one of those nothing really mattered that I don't know if I can go back and watch it again. It's just kind of leaves you with a disdain lasting, taste. It might be worth a watch, but it definitely, I didn't think it was that great. I didn't like the ending. Okay, what else do we got? I'm just gonna look through this list. Oh, Minari. Minari. I loved that movie. I thought that was one of the best films of the year. And it was nominated for Best Picture. I just thought it was like a great slice of life in this like particular, this Korean family coming to America, living this kind of rural life, and I think it's Arkansas or something like that. Some backwoods, if you will, and just how they get jobs as, I guess, checking the sex of chickens, and being able to do it really fast, and you get paid for it. And I think it's like set during the 80s or whatnot. But there's just like the grandmother character. Obviously, she won best supporting actress. She's fantastic in that movie, and it's just a great kind of movie. It's realistic in how it kind of portrays families. It doesn't have exactly like the perfect, no family is perfect. So there's definitely, bad, the family goes through some troubles. Let's just say that. But I thought it was very sweet and very memorable. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. All right, let's see what else. Let's see. The Hunt. Now, this movie was kind of controversial because it was already kind of put out there. It's like, oh, this is a very like left-wing movie. It's like, oh, we're gonna put all these right-winged kind of people and beliefs and put them in a kind of, the the greatest, or what's it called, the most dangerous game, where they're hunting people, and it's pretty funny. It's got a dark sense of humor, and it doesn't all work, but I think it's pretty enjoyable all around. It's definitely worth a couple watches. Pretty entertaining. And The Invisible Man, this was, I think, a real surprise to people. This was a very good adaptation of our reimagining of the Invisible Man movies from before, and it worked very well as a thriller. A lot of surprises. And surprisingly effective. I think The Invisible Man was definitely a winner. Okay, let's see what else we got. Bad Boys for Life. It's alright. I mean, if you're a fan of Bad Boys, this is a fine. I think it's better than 2, which I thought was just kind of a little over the top and just a little. It's funny, but it's kind of like mean-spirited kind of funny, and it's definitely, I don't know. I like this one a little bit more, but as for a whole, I mean, I think for the most part, the Bad Boys franchise is more style over substance, but this one had a little more heart, I thought, so I guess I liked it a little bit more. Tenet. That was the first movie I saw after the the virus of unknown origins happened, and I thought it was really good. I thought I was it was exactly what I wanted. Just like escapism action, and it was like mind bending, and it was kind of confusing of like how things played out, and it like wraps around itself with its whole, you know, time loop kind of plot. And yeah, it doesn't have, the characters just named the protagonist. And I guess that was done on purpose. It's not one of those like, I gotta have, the protagonist, whoever the protagonist is, I gotta care about it. I want to know what things about him, I want to know why I care about it. And this one, you didn't need it, because I think more the journey was more of the movie than, no, it's not like the perfect movie. I don't think it's one of Nolan's best, but it's not one of his worst either. I think it's fine entertainment. And I think that's exactly where it sits. It's fine entertainment. It's an entertaining movie. Shut your brain off. Don't think about it. The Old Guard. That was one I was kind of excited for, The Old Guard. And I watched it, and yeah, it has some interest, some original kind of concepts. But other than a few action scenes, I thought it was kind of forgettable. Man, I don't remember anything about that movie now, a couple years afterward. It must have been kind of boring, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. Other than some other spots that were okay. I'm looking through here. I don't really see. Okay, let's go to The King of Staten Island. Um, it was okay. It had a lot of hype, like, oh man, this is one of the best movies of the year coming out. I thought it was okay. It's definitely worth a watch. I think it's like 30 minutes too long. It kind of takes a while to get there. And it's a love story that's supposed to be kind of realistic, and it has some funny moments, but it would have done better with just 30 minutes off that movie, because it was a little indulgent, and I don't think the necessary, shots of Staten Island really brought me more into the characters. It was fine, but, that's about all I'll say. Borat's subsequent movie film. Not as good as the first movie. The sequel to Borat was fine. It had some definitely laugh out loud moments. I laughed quite a few times. And that's all you want, right? I mean, Borat. It was funny. But not as good as the first. So. I'm looking at other things. Lovebirds. I liked Lovebirds. That was a fine movie as well. Definitely worth a rent or, watch. I say rent like people still rent movies. I mean, I guess you can on, certain things. I'm trying to look at what was the winner of that year? Was it Nomadland? That was a good movie. It kind of reminded me of that movie Nomad, about this, or was it Vagabond? It might have been Vagabond, but a woman that lives on the road, and it's to her choosing. They choose to live on the road, and you kind of see kind of their life. There's not really plot. It's just more like, they try to add plot, like, oh, will she stay with this nice guy, and they'll give her a home and all that. But no, she wants to stay in her van or live in her vehicle and struggle with working from job to job each season and just living out on the road. I mean, some people just enjoy that kind of life, and I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was funny. It was, kind of touching in some ways. So it was okay. I don't think, I'm looking at some of these other movies, and I don't think The Empty Man, that was a good one. That was probably one of the best horror films of 2020, Empty Man. If you haven't seen it, it's not a traditional horror film. It like the first 20 minutes is a setup to the rest of the film, which is, you're like, oh, where's this going? And you're like, oh, that's where it's going. And it's pretty good. I think one of the better horror films of 2020. And now I'm looking at the other ones, and I just don't, there might be another movie or two that I saw, but I'm looking here and I'm not seeing much else. So yeah, 2020 was a light year, to say the least. All right. If I don't see anything else of note, I'll just move on to 2021. All right. Quiet Place Part 2. Okay, yeah, that was one. Quiet Place Part 2. Um, I might have liked it better than the first one. I think I liked it a little better than the first one. I think it expanded um, in the right ways. There were still thrills. It wasn't a perfect movie, but for the world building and whatnot, I thought it was a little bit better, and it did introduce more characters. Oh, Boss Level! I got to talk about that. That movie was, I think it came straight to like Amazon or Hulu or something. Boss Level was actually really. I had a lot of fun. That movie's a lot of fun, and it's another one that may be 20 minutes too long. It could have been, edited down, but for the most part, it's a very enjoyable movie. Think Groundhog's Day meets The Transporter or something. I thought it was pretty damn good. Let's see. I guess there was a lot more in 2020. I think Crudes 2, that came out in 2020. I liked the Crudes 2. Not as good as the first, but definitely enjoyable. Fans of the first one will definitely like the second one. Anything else? I'm looking. Oh yeah, Onward. Man, I almost forgot Onward. Onward. Probably the best animated film of the year. I thought it was, you didn't know where it was going, and then then when you didn't know where it's going, you thought it was going to be going one way, predictable, and then it's like ending kind of saved the whole movie. I thought, there's some enjoyable moments in there, but it felt kind of predictable in the journey that they could have took, or it could have been a little more fantastical. They didn't take, but I think the ending totally saved the movie, and I thought it was really good. Trolls World Tour, it was all right. I thought the first one was better. Mulan did not check it. I did not check out that one at all. I heard crap from it, so I was like, nah. Soul. Soul was good, but it's not one of their better ones. I mean, it's okay, but it kind of gets lost in its own shuffle. It's an interesting idea, but it's not that memorable. I mean, there are some memorable moments, but overall as a movie, it's not one I think you'll go back to a ton. But it's not bad. Soul was, a good movie, but it's just, I don't think it was one of their best. And, their bar has been raised so high. I mean, Pixar keeps raising their bar so freaking high. Dr. Dolittle, didn't see it. SpongeBob movie. Oh, Wonder Woman 1984. Other than Pedro Pascal, who does a fantastic job, that movie didn't hit at all for me. And it didn't hit for a lot of other people as well, I think. The Sonic movie? I guess the first Sonic movie came out. Yeah, it was great. It was really good. I'll say that. It was really good. It wasn't great. It could have done more in the Sonic world. Sonic in the real world, I would have liked like maybe an hour of that, and the rest like give the Sonic fans what they want, but what we got was okay. I think the sequel kind of helped that a little bit. Okay, we're moving along to 2021. Moving right along. I guess 2020 had a lot more than I thought. Okay. The Power of the Dog. I thought it was an okay movie. The Power of the Dog, it ran a little bit long, I thought, and there's great performances, but it's definitely worth a watch, but I can't really remember a lot about it after now thinking about it. Dune. Fantastic. One of the best movies of the year. I'm glad that Dune finally got like the love it deserved. Like, not like that terrible. The 80s film, it's just they try to squish it so much into one movie and they couldn't do it. And that was the problem with the 80s movie. But this one is like visually amazing. The acting, really good. The scope, love it. Hopefully we get the part 2, soon. All right, let's look. Inheritance, didn't see that. Pig. One of Nicolas Cage's best. That's all I gotta say. Good movie. Old. M. Night Shyamalan. One of the more unintentionally or intentionally funny movies ever. Like, the acting is so bad in this movie, Old. But it's very funny, and I don't think that was his intentions. Old, a pretty cool concept, but it kind of runs long at the end. We kind of get the point. It's like, okay, where's this going, and how are we wrapping this up? What's the twist? And you get the twist, and it's like, is it satisfying? Not really. It's kind of a dumb movie when you think about it. Okay, Nobody. I like this movie a lot. I think action fans are going to go back and watch this over and over again. Nobody, I thought its setup was just like perfect. It kind of gives you into this guy's like mundane life, and he gets broken out of his shell after a crazy event happens. And Bob Odenkirk knocks it out of the park, man. The action feels real. Shout out to Christopher Lloyd. I mean, he has some great parts in it. It's a great action movie. I think it's great, actually. Um, Black Phone. Black Phone was a really good movie. I mean, I watched it with the family. We liked it. It was, it's a good, I guess, yeah, it's a good horror film that you can watch with the family. It hits all the marks, I think. The Last Duel. The Last Duel was a very. I'm surprised it went under the radar, but man, it's another one. It's like 30 minutes too long. I think it's just it gives you 3 points of perspective of an event that happened. And that's the problem. Like, you got to go through all three, and then it's up to you to believe what really happened or not happened. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie, and Ridley Scott, he kind of got mad because people didn't go see it. And he blamed, I don't know what he blamed superhero movies or something. But it's a good movie. It's worth a watch. Don't Look Up. One of the funniest movies of the year, and kind of brilliant. It's one of those that you'll definitely go back and watch again. It is very funny. It's got an all-star cast. I really like what's her name in that movie? God, what's her name? I can't remember. One of the greatest actresses of our time. Um, uh, I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, she's good in it. But I was thinking of Meryl Streep. I mean, is there anything that Meryl Streep doesn't do? But that's awesome. Well, you know, she did great in that. I thought she kind of stole a lot of the show. Okay, my favorite movie of the year was The Green Knight. I loved that movie. I thought The Green Knight, it was like surreal. It was, fantasy. It was a fairy tale. It was subtle, mysterious, but also kind of brilliant and like thought provoking at the end. It was such a good movie. It's definitely worth a couple watches. I everybody's gonna get something different out of it, but it's just the visual storytelling that it does. I loved it. I watched it and I was like, wow, I knew it was like, dude, this is gonna be on top of my list at the end of the year, and it is. The Green Knight, my favorite movie of 2021. I don't even know if I had a favorite movie of 20. Did I say my 2020 favorite movie? I don't know. Uh, let's see what else we got. Belfast. Oh yeah, the Eyes of Tammy Faye. That was a fantastic movie. I thought. What is it? Who was the? Was it Christian? No, 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 no. It was Jessica Chastain. She killed that. She killed that role. It was really good. Um, let's see what else. The French Dispatch. That was a good one. I like that one. Nightmare Alley. It will definitely go as probably Guillermo del Toro's most underrated movie. Um, it's it's a good movie, but once you watch it, I don't know if you really go back to it because once you figure out what the message it's trying to say, you kind of get it. There's nothing visually that was like super remarkable about it. There is, Bradley Cooper's performance kind of is the anchor of that movie. So that's what I remember, his performance is very good, and I like it. So, one of my favorite directors, Edgar Wright, he made Last Night in Soho, and I thought it was definitely a really good movie. Not his best, but very visually striking, had a great mystery, definitely worth watching. Red Rocket. How can I just recently saw this earlier this year. I've been wanting to watch it for a while. Red Rocket is an interesting movie to say the least. It's based, kind of where I'm at in the Galveston area, and it really nails the people that live here. It's like the people that you see in the movie are like people that live here. It's like very close, hanging out at the donut hole. It's about a porn star, a former porn star, or a porn star that's on the downturn, trying to get his way back into the business, going back home to his wife that I guess they're separated, but whatnot, and kind of just seeing him to hustle his way back up top. And it kind of gets a little self-indulgent, it's like, okay, we get the point, but where's this going? And then when we finally get to the point of where it's going, it's about, I guess it's another movie. It's about the journey, it may not, you'll see scenes like, what was the point of that scene? But then now thinking about it, it's like, okay, I get it. It's trying to really build this world, this life. And here's, a scene that may not matter in the grand scheme of things, but it helps paint the picture, I guess. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't, Let's see. Okay, probably the most, I saw this with the wife and my daughter, and this is definitely a controversial. This is Paul, what is his name? Wait, Paul Thomas Anderson, right? Is that his name, right? Paul Thomas Anderson? Yeah, PTW, or PTA. I'm sorry. Licorice Pizza. This is a very controversial film, because, some people was like, hey, it's glorifying pedophilia in the reverse role. A 23-year-old woman or 24, having like a relationship with a 15-year-old. It's not sexual, and it doesn't try to play to that, I thought. But there's so many good scenes. There's so many memorable scenes in this, and it takes a while to get there because you don't like. What is this movie really about? That's my whole thing. Is like, it's about a kid that's trying to become, I forget. He's trying to become something or not. And there's this girl he really likes, and she's doing her own thing. I guess. Not protesting, but rallying for a political party or something, and it's just kind of the people that they meet. Sean Penn has like one of the craziest roles and scenes I've seen in a movie, and Bradley Cooper also kills it. Them two alone and their scenes like really make the movie, really, but everything between that, it's kind of meandering, but I think it's worth a watch. And I don't think the whole pedophilia thing is not, I didn't come around there. I was like, okay, this is kind of creepy. I don't know. It felt like Harold and Maude kind of innocent, to me at least. So I didn't think it was, didn't come around creepy. But like if the roles were reversed, that's what I heard. It's like, come on, man. It wasn't, I didn't feel any of those vibes, but that's just me. Let's see what else happened. This is going to be a long video, I guess. Well, I'm going through 2 years, so. The Tomorrow World War. It was alright. It was kind of all over the place. I guess it had an interesting twist, if you want to call it that, but overall, it's kind of forgettable movie. I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me. Gunpowder Milkshake. Go watch that. If you've not seen Gunpowder Milkshake, dude, it's pretty hype. Let's see what else. The Matrix Resurrection. A movie that's so self-aware that it even makes the point that it never needed to be made. It's like, oh, I guess it's like it's like it's telling you, the audience, like, hey, Warner Brothers wants to make another movie. Okay, I guess we got to bring Neo back. I mean, essentially, that's what the movie said. I'm not like spoiling anything, but the movie is very self-aware and it's completely forgettable. I mean, that's the main thing you get away from the Matrix. It's like it didn't need to exist. I mean, I can't tell you an action scene or anything from that movie that registered anything. Oh yeah, I guess there was a Fast and Furious movie, F9. Didn't see it. Sorry, I'm not a big on those. Um. Oh yeah, No Time to Die. I was upset because this got pushed back. It's supposed to be in 2020. Did it live up to the hype? I think it did, but man, it is long movie. I think it's like 20 to 30 minutes too long. It's trying to cram everything into it. But it's safe to say it's Daniel Craig's last Bond film. But did it live up to the hype? It's not as good as Skyfall. It's better than Quantum of Solace, and Spectre. So I would say it's like third on the. I would say out of his five movies, I would say at the top is Skyfall, at least for me, Casino Royale, No Time to Die, Spectre, and then Quantum of Solace. So in no particular order. Free Guy. That was a fun movie. I really liked it. Free Guy was a good. It had a lot of heart. The action was pretty decent. It definitely had some fan service for stuff that you didn't even know that there was going to be fan service. It had a lot of heart. It's funny. It's not like that funny, but it's funny enough. It's definitely an entertaining movie. Definitely worth a couple watches. All right, what else we got? Black Widow. Did not see it. Eternals. I completely forgot about that movie. I don't even know. Oh yeah, Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Nice try. At least it had the better setup than the other movies, but it just kind of fails because it doesn't know what it wants to do. Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat. It's just Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2021 over. I still think the original is better as far as like an overall movie. Obviously, this one gives us like the fatalities and gives a little more backstory on certain characters, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. But overall, like it gives us a main character that's not even a character in any of the Mortal Kombat. I mean, there was all these characters they could have picked from, and they just here's a new guy. Hopefully you care about him. You don't really care about him. Let's see, and yeah, I'm trying to look at what else. Nope. Didn't see that. Look at some of the horror films, but oh yeah, Candyman, not as good as the original. The new Candyman was fine. It did its job. It's good. I think it was a good movie, but it wasn't as good as the original. Definitely not as scary. I'm trying to look. Malignant. Oh yeah, the divisive Malignant. James Wong's Malignant. Definitely campy fun. I mean, it's just a movie that if you sit there and try to think about logic or wait, that doesn't make sense, or well, if they did that, like what how are they gonna do this? Or like what's gonna happen after that? Just if you throw that all aside and you just watch it for its batshit insanity, you'll have a good time. But not in any means a great movie. It's just kind of a good brainless horror film, which is fine. Some people, that's enjoyable for some people. All right, westerns. I'm just looking at the. I really do. I watch all kinds. So I go through all the. I don't just watch horror films and action films. I like dramas and all that. West Side Story, not as good as the original. Let's see what else. I'm looking at all the other. The Kingsman. That was okay. The Witcher. Nightmare of the Wolf. That was really good. I was totally, that was one of the better animated movies. I haven't got to any animated movies of 2021, but Nightmare of the Wolf was very good. You don't even have to know about that. Oh yeah, the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad. I guess the rebranding of Suicide Squad. A lot better than the original. Very funny, very dark, though it does take some lip. It takes some, I don't know. They're like, hey, we got to give Harley Quinn a scene or 20, 30 minutes of movie that doesn't mean anything to anything. So, you shave those 15 minutes off and you probably had a tighter, better movie. Shang-Chi was okay, one of the better Marvel movies, but nowhere, you know, I was, Godzilla versus Kong, finally. Hey, I did a big review over Godzilla King of Monsters, and I thought the human elements were pretty trash, but man, the monster stuff was really good. So it came out, it was okay. It was, now looking back, I can change my review. It was all right. It was all right. It didn't suck. The good stuff was good, but Godzilla versus Kong, I thought it was like badass. I thought it really nailed all the things, and the ending was really good. I thought it delivered. The human elements weren't too bad, too cringe this time, so I thought that was really good. Spider-Man: No Way Home, best live-action Spider-Man. Simple put. Raya and the Last Dragon, loved it. I thought it was really good. I dug this world. I understood, the motivations. None of the characters are too deep, but you don't really have time for that. But the overall, story I really enjoyed, and the side characters I liked more than the main characters, if that makes sense. All right, Sing 2. I thought Sing 2 was really good. I thought, it wasn't. None of the Sing movies are masterpieces, but they're fine entertainment, and that's what I would put it under. Luca, I was surprised that I wish I liked it more than I should have, but it was okay. My son liked it really, and some people really like it, but for me, it was just okay. I wasn't like super into it as much. Okay, Encanto. Yes, Encanto is a good movie, and the songs are really great. But man, the songs are what gave that movie such lasting appeal. Because I'm not gonna even mention the songs. You know the songs. I've heard them to death, and I'm happy that people enjoyed it. Boss Baby, didn't like the first one. Didn't really like the second one. Space Jam. Wow, bloated, self-indulgent mess. I couldn't get into that. And yeah, I guess that's that's 2021 right there. I guess that's most of everything. Um what was the I don't even know. Did I look up Nomadland one? Okay. I guess Parasite one. Okay, what was 2019? Let me see. Oh, Green Book. Green Book was fine. Anyways, uh okay, video games. 2020. This is going to be a long video. The Last of Us Part 2. I thought it was great. Yes, I didn't like the way the story did Joel. I think they should have done that like later, you know? But overall, it told an interesting story, and it was a sad and brutal story. Joel deserved a kind of better send off than what happened, but for overall, it was at the end of the movie. It felt like a movie. It's such a long game. At the end of the movie slash game, it was heart wrenching, unforgettable. I mean, you're just like you don't forget about it. But is it as good as the first? No, it is not as good as the first. Though I think it is a pretty good sequel. That's all I can say. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I love this. I loved it, though. The gameplay is fantastic. Final Fantasy VII, the remake. The gameplay was like, yes. It was really cool to see this, but man, I hated that they broke it up into, I don't know how many games they're going to break it up to, 3. Now, that came out 2020. Here it is, 2023, and we're still waiting on the next game. So, I don't know. The story tries to retcon everything that you did, the original. I don't know. The story is, it's the weakest part, is that they're trying to not stay on the same, they're not trying to tell the same story. They're trying to say, oh, well, maybe things can be different. I don't think anyone really agreed with that move. Okay, Ghost of Tsushima. Great game. Long, very long game. But it's memorable. And probably the most beautiful, other than The Last of Us, I mean, it's Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, some of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my life. Ghost of Tsushima, when the wind is whipping through the grass and whatnot. Oh, man, it's awesome. And it makes you feel like a samurai. It really does. No game has done it better. But let me tell you what, my favorite game of 2020 was easy. Doom Eternal. Oh my, I picked it up and I couldn't put it down. It was just like, it was like they took everything that was great in 2016 Doom, and Doom Eternal just cranks it up to like 11, dude. It is a masterpiece. I mean, it starts you off slowly, but then the next thing you know, you're like, just like, I mean, you're like a pinball machine going through each of these levels and just blasting people and just like barely escaping with your life before you can, you're on the brink of death and they're about to get you, and then you grab the chainsaw fuel and you rip a guy in half, and I mean, it's just like a bloody, crazy good mess, and difficult, very difficult game, but definitely beatable. It's not too bad. Cyberpunk. Played it for about a couple weeks, and I was like, nah. And it wasn't even all the bugs. It's just I couldn't get into it. It was so much hype, and it just didn't live up to it, in my opinion. Let's see, Demon Souls, the remake. Half-Life Alyx. I had to wait till 2021 to play it, but man, let me tell you, I was hooked. It was like, it was the best. It's the best VR game I've ever played. The storytelling, the gameplay. It is if you're a Half-Life fan, you have to play Half-Life Alyx. Find a way. Resident Evil 3 remake. I didn't play it. Fall Guys. Fall Guys is fine. The kids like it. Dreams from PlayStation. Dreams is a fantastic game. Media Molecule did everything. It's like they took Little Big Planet. Hey, remember when you could create your own levels and stuff? We're just going to let you create your own game. And they really knock it out of the park. If you pick up Dreams, you're picking up thousands of games. Like, there are some, like, Mario games in there, Sonic games, Call of Duty things, zombies, Five Nights at Freddy's, RPGs, Zeldas. I mean, it's fantastic. And it's so, they're supposed to be adding more, like, multiplayer and stuff to it. So it's a great game. Crash Bandicoot 4. The sequel we all waited for. Crash Bandicoot 4 is fantastic. It is a tough game. I mean, all Crash games are pretty tough. I mean, they're way tougher than any Mario game. I will stand by that. And it does everything right that a next gen Crash game should do. It's absolute. If you're a Crash Bandicoot fan, it's absolutely worth picking up. Bugsnax. That's a fine game. It's it's kind of a kid's game, and it's an adventure game, and you're taking pictures and stuff, kind of like Pokemon Snap. It's a cute little game. Oh man, me and the wife, we loved Sackboy: A Big Adventure. That was a fan. I mean, I think it's 4-player co-op, but me and her just playing, we had a blast. It was great platforming. The story is, it's, Little Big Planet. What's the story? They just make up some stuff. A bad guy comes in and you got to stop him from taking over the world, whatever. But man, the the just the level design, it's so like there's so many great levels that have so much imagination. It was a fantastic time. If you've never played Sackboy Big Adventure, definitely check that one out. All right, and let's see, Black Ops Cold War, the last Call of Duty that I played like a little bit. I liked it, but it's nowhere near the other Call of Duties. The zombies is like eh. All right, 2021. The games. Halo Infinite. Played it for a little bit, the multiplayer, but then it just It just it couldn't sustain. It just couldn't sustain, and fans agree with me because its online is almost dead. I wouldn't say almost dead. There's probably still people playing, but not as many. Trust me. All right, the best game of 2021, easily. It Takes Two. I loved it. Me and the wife, absolutely. If you have a brother or a sister or a wife or girlfriend or husband or boyfriend, it is a fantastic time. Please play It Takes Two. It switches up the gameplay constantly, so you're never doing the same thing over. It's got imagination. The story is really good. I hate the book guy. He's kind of annoying, but other than that, it has some surprisingly dark things in it, and it's just such a joy to play. Such a joy. Okay, let's see. Metroid Dread, a return to form. What a if you love Metroid, you've got to check out Metroid Dread. It does everything right. Basically closes out, the Metroid, Super Metroid Fusion saga with this last one. If you play Metroid Prime, that's a whole nother kind of series, so it has nothing to do with the Prime series. But Metroid Dread, hard, tough game, but very satisfying. Okay, Resident Evil Village. Man, I had a lot of fun with. But it is more of an action game than it is a Resident Evil. It's like the Resident Evil 4 of the 7. 7 was like grounded horror, really scary goodness, closed. Not too. 8 is like a conveyor belt of like, hey, we're going to give you this kind of gameplay. Okay, we're going to give you this. So there is some scary parts, but it's only like one part. It's like really kind of like some spooky, well, not spooky, but kind of like, creepy. And you're like, oh man, you're like, oh God, what is that? That's everyone that's played it. They know what I'm talking about. The other part is like shooty, action. It gets kind of ridiculous at the end. I wouldn't even tell you about the story. It's Resident Evil. It's pointless. Okay, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. One of the best Ratchet games in a long time. It has a great story. I loved it. And I can't wait to see what they do next. Graphically, it's beautiful. The new weapons are really good. I like the new dynamic of the rift jumping. So cool. Returnal. I played a little bit of this actually. I put a few hours into it, but it's just. I mean, it's for like the hardcore. I mean, you have to beat the game all. There's no save spot. You have to beat the game all the way through on the first. On one go. If you die, you start all over. They kind of like. I think the Binding of Isaac is kind of like that as well, where it's like you get one go to get through it, and you get to a certain point, and then like they'll give you permanent things that make it the next run go. But man, I got a job and something. I got time to sit here and wait. I can't even pause the game. I think it does let you pause. And like it'll save that pause it and it'll save and then you can come back to it, but still you're on that same go. You die, you start all the way over. So, but it's beautiful. Super Mario 3D World plus I should say Bowser's Fury. Super Mario 3D World, fantastic game. You get you and 4 players all together. You're gonna have a fantastic time. It's one of the better Mario games. Absolutely, it's slept on. Cat Mario, great. Bowser's Fury, that's the reason to play it. Bowser's Fury is like a fully open world Mario game, kind of. It's not like fully realized, but it kind of is. I mean, it could be much longer, but it's kind of a DLC kind of side thing, and we hope to see a bigger version of it in whatever, Nintendo. We haven't got a new Mario game in like for a while, and Bowser's Fury was, I guess, counts as a its own thing, but it's different than, it controls different than Odyssey and Galaxy and all that. So it kind of controls like Super Mario 3D World, but it's in its own kind of world. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Inscription. This game is a delight. This is a game that definitely bucks your expectations. It's not going to be for everybody, Inscription, but I think the people that do pick it up and stay with it, will be surprised how rewarding it is. It is very, if you stick with it, it is very rewarding, and has so many surprises. All right, let's see what else. Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I mean, it's kind of back to the heyday of the PlayStation 2 era kind of adventure games that, you go out there, collect a bunch of stuff, and save some little creatures. It's fine. It's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, but it's a fine game. Let's see what else. The Medium. The Medium is a very good, like, scary game. It's scarier than Final Fantasy, or not Final. Why did I say Resident Evil 8. It's definitely one that you should check out. The Medium. And then I didn't play Far Cry or anything like that. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Didn't check that out. Didn't check out Forza. There's probably some more games, but that's it. I think that's Deathloop. I played that a little bit. I couldn't get into it, but it was okay. I haven't played Psychonauts 2 yet, but I do want to play that one as well. And that is the games and movies of 2020 and 2021. So here it is a big old me blabbing about all these movies and games. But I wanted to catch up until, next time we'll do 2020. And it'll feel a little better. But if you enjoy this, hit me back and leave a comment or anything. And I'll keep putting out these videos. I'll start doing some different style videos coming up. But I'm excited to hear what y'all think. What was your favorite games or movies of 2020 and 2021? Let me know. And if you like this, stick around for more Susan Man Entertainment.